No.
His name was Seth Rich, and if you discussed the possibility of his murder being politically motivated, you might have your information from social media turned over to the authorities. You can almost be certain, when you are shamed by elites and even some self-proclaimed journalists, anytime you ask questions about a topic, that there is something there someone doesn't want you to know. Yesterday, I saw people sharing legal documents about an apparent lawsuit, as Aaron Rich, the brother of Seth Rich, is suing America First Media, Matthew Couch, Edward Butowski, The Washington Times, Jared Beck, Cassandra Fairbanks, Julian Assange, Kim.com, Roger Stone, The Gateway Pundit, and more.
We are going to sue the school system. We are going to sue the city. We are going to sue the state. And we are going to sue the bus driver.
The Twitter mafia is ecstatic, claiming that conspiracy nuts are being silenced, and that's a good thing for responsible discourse. No one should ever question the mainstream narrative, after all. You wouldn't want to be called a denier, would you? These people, the blue checkmarks, would support free thinking if the shoe was on the other foot. If this was Donald Trump suing people for slander and libel, they would flip to the other side faster than you can blink your eyes. I should say this right now. I am only reporting on what has been said, and I am certainly not making any accusations about what happened. It is pointless to speculate without data, and in order to get to the truth, you do have to ask questions. And it doesn't matter if you are asking questions about Seth Rich or the Russia hoax, but this lawsuit is a clear attack on alternative media. Just look at who they're targeting. That and the average Twitter user, as anyone who has tweeted with certain popular hashtags are also considered secondary accounts in the court documents, and they might end up in court as well, just from a retweet. Here we have decorated investigative journalist Seymour Hersh, a man who broke stories like My Lai and Abu Ghraib, claiming to have seen confidential documents that confirmed that Seth Rich was in fact the WikiLeaks informant, and that his death was more complicated than the media was letting it on to be.
What the report says that sometime in late spring, we're talking about June, summer's in June 21st, late spring would be after, I presume, I don't know, I just say it says late spring, early summer. He makes contact with WikiLeaks. That's in his computer, and he makes contact.
If there was a journalist whose word I trusted, it would be Seymour Hersh. I don't perceive Hersh as being politically motivated, so I don't buy the premise that all people who want justice are only in it for the politics. Some people just want the truth. A private investigator named Rod Wheeler was hired by the Rich family to look into things. Oddly enough, the brother of Seth, Aaron, the same one that is the plaintiff in this case, was uncooperative with Rod Wheeler in his investigation. On top of that, Rod Wheeler was restricted from seeing body cam footage, convenience store footage from the area, as well as the autopsy report. Police also did not question Seth at the crime scene, and his laptop has gone missing. After Rod Wheeler started asking questions about a potential link to WikiLeaks, a fixer from a PR firm sent by the DNC called Brad Bauman told Wheeler on behalf of the family to stop looking into it, that he was fired. Wheeler was even sent a cease and desist letter, and this prevented him from sharing any of the information that he has acquired, which is why the only investigation into the murder stopped entirely. Brad Bauman is a crisis manager, and his work focused on maintaining problems that aren't meant to leak to the public. You may have also heard about Guccifer 2.0, a hack that was falsely attributed to Russia near the beginning of the Russia hoax back in 2016. For months, cable news pundits and professional Twitter personalities used the Guccifer 2.0 hack as a way of proving that Russia meddled into our election. However, not too long after this evidence was under scrutiny, did people find an interesting detail about the Guccifer data. The data obtained in the leaked documents show that the files were transferred with a consistent bitrate, like with a USB transfer, rather than the wireless transfer that the propagandists on cable claimed it was. What is troubling about this lawsuit is how far it reaches. Now, as you might imagine, all of the people who have, in the last few years, claimed that criticizing anybody in the news on social media is attacking the free press. And now those same people are cheering that independent journalists and random Twitter users are getting roped into a massive lawsuit. Not only are people who retweeted WikiLeaks on the chopping block, but also anyone who tweeted various hashtags, including America First, Facts Over Feelings, and DNC Leak. Well, as I was working on this video, the subpoenas against Twitter were dropped, and those who were included in it have received this email. Dear Twitter user, we have been notified that the subpoena we previously sent you has been withdrawn. We have not disclosed any of your account information and consider this matter closed. Best, Twitter Legal. My only guess as to the reason this subpoena has been withdrawn is that the people behind the suit realized that it would cause the story to surge through social media. Just filing this lawsuit will cause more people to look into the Seth Rich story. If they really want people to stop talking about something, the last thing that they would want to do is to file a public lawsuit about it.
All right, there we go. Wild Smile, you made this video. What caused you to do it, and what are your thoughts on it beyond what you said in the video?
Seeing the lawsuit surge throughout social media, all these people being served with subpoenas for sharing the Seth Rich information, just random stuff. And I'm willing to bet there's some misinformation in the Seth Rich data, everything that people have acquired over the last 2 years. But it's strange. Like, if John Benet Ramsey, right, her parents, what was that, 20 years ago or longer?
Yeah, but over 20 years ago, actually, I think.
Yeah, if the father came out and started suing people who were trying to solve the murder, what might be your impression be?
And by the way, I think that actually happened, did it not? I don't know.
Oh shit, did it?
I believe they did sue some people. Yeah, so yeah, I guess you could say my impression might be that they were trying to hide something, possibly. Yeah.
That's the gut feeling, and of course, I'm not making that accusation. It is strange, the behavior that Aaron has been exhibiting. In a lot of the interviews I saw with Rod Wheeler, he claims that he was unresponsive, like they tried to talk to him over the phone, and Aaron even tried to talk him out of investigating. And then this was, of course, before he was served with the cease and desist letter. The whole thing is so damn fishy. And anytime there's an advancement or some sort of new information on things like this, stories that go falling down the memory hole, I try to keep track of it all. But yeah, this was a crazy one. The whole reason I thought to cover it was because I was seeing someone get sued.
And you know what's interesting? Maybe it's interesting, I don't know. I had never heard that Seymour Hersh audio before, which maybe that's a damning comment against myself, but I had never heard that. So it seems like maybe I'd seen like it spoken about or something, or like some tweets about it, but I had never actually heard the audio. So I kudos to you for posting that. And yeah, Seymour Hersh is a fairly decorated journalist, so I think I would think that would merit some consideration by the media. They were damn sure happy to promote him about Abu Ghraib and a lot of his other scoops. So I'm kind of curious that they muted his response on that. You really haven't heard that discussed on MSNBC or any of the other mainstream channels, even Fox. You know what I mean? So
even Fox, yeah, they had a bunch of different things set up, and they had to cancel them all because the Seth Rich family actually sued Fox.
Yeah, they almost fucking drove Hannity off Fox News over this issue. Yeah, so
it's so strange. Like, I just don't understand the logic behind we need to stop people looking into this, and then mainstream people telling you shouldn't be talking about this. Like, look, even if it's not politicized, we should still find the person that killed this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more you tell people to stop looking into something, the more they're going to dig into it, to be honest.
And the more suspicious it gets, the people keep saying, oh, well, don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It's just, it's unnerving.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. By the way, this is an update on the first topic that we discussed, and it's from Lauren Rose herself, her own Twitter account. As you can see, we follow each other. By the way, those blue check marks, man, they're some real scumbags. I just have to say, if you have a blue check mark on Twitter, you're a scumbag. Like,
I would agree.
What an absolute piece of shit you have to be to get one of those blue check marks.
And somehow Matt Jarbo still doesn't have one.
Oh, poor Matt.
But someone else here does.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get into that, did you guys see the tweet? Did you guys see the tweet?
Yes. From last night, right?
Now look, oh man, you know what? That wasn't even on the topic list, but it's gonna be, because I'm gonna go back and pull it up, and we're gonna laugh about that. By the way, if Matt's listening, feel free to come on. Yes, I know Ralph has one. That was me being sarcastic. This is Lauren Rose, and she just tweeted this out, 6 minutes ago. She said, and this is in response to JF's stream that he did earlier today, and it was called "Lauren Did Nothing Wrong." It was like, what, hour and a half, a little bit longer. And Lauren says, I was not told this stream was happening ahead of time and would not have approved of it. I am capable of explaining my own actions if I feel it is necessary. She is a strong woman, and she does not need your penis to defend her, according to her. Is there any response to that?
Okay. Duly noted.
You know what's funny? I saw this predicted earlier. Some people said she's going to say exactly this, and this is exactly what she said. So, kudos to those people.
Yeah, it makes sense, though. I mean, you would want yourself to.
Does it make sense though? No, what does it make sense though? Because it's like he was stepping out on a limb. It probably would have been easier just to say, "Silly bitch, throw her to the side." You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting rid of you. Whatever. You're fucking my shit up, and just move on.
I mean, if you were her, do you need somebody to would you want somebody defending you? Like that when you say something.
I mean, would I want somebody defending me? Yeah, I probably would. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe it's a female thing where it's, this man's got to defend my honor, and I'm perfectly capable of doing it myself. But still, it's like, wow, he was kind of being, your supporter. He was kind of being your champion. I don't know. Maybe is it just a female thing? I don't know. I'm just saying I like it when people defend me. I don't know. Maybe, but
in certain things where you need to be defended, yeah, sure. But when you're defending your own opinion,
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I see mostly chicks.
If any of you would like to go out there and defend me, I will not say that.
I see mostly chicks do this anyway, to be honest. So
yeah, I think it's the woman thing. It's like, oh god, I don't need that. I don't know, but yeah, that just happened while we were playing the video. So. What a night.
Yeah, even Nora in the chat said it's different for females.
But is it really? I don't know. Come on.
It is.
Are you telling me that you would not defend such a lovely lady?
Uh-oh.
Oh, man. What do you think about that? Wild Smile, and by the way, I'm going to talk about the Seth Rich thing because I want to give an opinion on that too. But what do you think about her comment there that she doesn't need JF defending her?
I think it's her trying to assert her strength, saying, "Hey, I don't need JF to defend me." And at the same time, it's something I just thought of. You gotta have some respect behind somebody saying, I'm going to stand behind my co-host as opposed to my audience. Not to say it's necessarily. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But just look at the whole Andy JF situation and how differently that could have gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's your co-host though, so why? I really don't understand. And again, I have nothing against Lauren. Whatever. We follow each other on Twitter. I don't know her personally. We never spoken in DMs or any other place. But it just seems like if you had this criticism, just I don't know. Maybe just put it on the back burner and just maybe voice it in private because this really kind of a knife to JF, isn't it?
Yeah, because he was just explaining how he's looking for professionalism and all of that, and then here she is airing out a little bit dirty laundry. And this isn't that bad in comparison to some of the stuff we've seen with like Andy and JF.
No, it doesn't rise to that level. But I'm just saying it is kind of like wow.
Yeah.
Somebody said send Lauren the link. Hey, we would love to have her on. I mean,
if she wants to come on, that's fine.
Sure, send her
the link.
Discord.
How about this? Send her this link right here that I'm about to post in the chat. Send that to her. Tell her to join the green room, and she is more than welcome to come on the kill stream.
There's another thing.
Go ahead.
Back here. Sorry.
I was gonna say the JF did express that when he first hired her on as co-host that he brought her on because she had those strong opinions and she was very headstrong. And people are in chat are saying, Jeff's going to be mad when he sees this. No, actually, I think he's going to have the opposite opinion. I think he's going to be more impressed with her that she's willing to say, hey, I can defend myself. Because I think ultimately he wants that.
Yeah,
he wants a co-host that can defend themselves.
Jeremy Carroll in the chat says this, and he didn't say female, but I will replace it. He says, this female is shitting on a supporter. That's just wrong. I mean, look, I won't take a moral position. I'll just say, me personally, if say I was under attack and I was a co-host and Zidane was the host, and Zidane went out there and made a video and said, look, Ralph did nothing wrong, just lay off. Maybe he could have done a couple things better, whatever, but just lay off him. And he put it all on the line, you know what I mean? And just put himself out there. I wouldn't feel the need to go out there publicly and do that quote tweet.
You know what? I think the major problem is he didn't have her on when he did it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, and you look back at the stream he did about Andy before they broke up. Just a little notice ahead of time maybe might be a good idea. But yeah, I mean, that's
because if I did a video on you, I'd bring you onto the thing. I would talk to you about it. I wouldn't you can explain yourself and I can agree with you or whatever. But that's how I would do it. I wouldn't do it by myself and just be like, yeah, this is it.
D Telephone in the chat says Lauren has always disliked JF's audience. I mean, maybe, I don't know. It seems kind of curious. Why even go and be his co-host in that case? But anyway, we'll bring on some callers and we'll talk about that in a minute. As for the Seth Rich thing, like, that shit is just nuts. I mean, and like Wild Smile said, imagine this was Trump or some Trump family member, suing people for putting out, and you can say it's a conspiracy theory or whatever you want to call it, even if it is a conspiracy theory. So what? Like, you're trying to silence people through the courts, and just imagine if this shoe was on the other foot. I mean, the left would be fucking spurging out right now. And instead, they're, like he said, the blue check marks. Yours truly not included in that, but the blue check marks are celebrating, and it's like, yeah, let's shut these people down. That's great. Which is the total antithesis of their arguments against Trump in regards to his critiques of the media and him saying he might want to open up libel laws and stuff like that. So it just seems to be a total,
this is
example
the political
hypocrisy.
Ideology that chants such venerated comments as "we shut shit down," as if shutting down political discourse is the highest form of discourse.
Yeah,
that's peak IQ right there.
that is a high IQ. Is shouting like an autistic seal until people shut up.
And the most frustrating thing about the whole Seth Rich and all the pushback from trying to figure things out is, I don't think it matters whether or not he was the WikiLeaks informant. I believe he was, based on what I've seen, but I'm not asserting that that's the fact right now, of course, with litigation going on. But it shouldn't matter. We're trying to find out what happened to somebody, and there should be no politics in this at all. And even the people that are saying you're trying to politicize this man's murder, we should just right on. Let's take the politics out and let's just try to figure out what happened. And we should all be able to agree on that, I think.
I mean, a guy was brutally murdered. You would think that, like, let's get to the bottom of it. I don't know.
Not only was the guy brutally murdered, but the circumstances behind his death are highly questionable regarding the fact that nothing was stolen, and if this was a crime, a crime of opportunity, it seems very weird.
I just want to say, imagine the situation was